Hello and welcome back to Candid Talk with Adele. I want to say thank you to everyone that has subscribed, everyone has liked and left a comment. I am grateful. It keeps me moving, keeps me going, so I'm excited to come back next time. My name is Adele and today we are talking about work-life balance. It is important to balance those three elements so you don't lose out on one. Let's get started. Work-life integration, or what you can call finding harmony in your busy life, is very, very important. Why do we do that? Strategies to ensure that your work at home, your life in your own space, does not clash with your work at the office and everything you're doing. It's very important. But also finding a balance in between to ensure you succeed or thrive on all is key. I am still struggling as well on the same, but we are going to work on it together. Balancing the family life, the work life, but also your personal growth is a recipe for success, because you get to spend time with your family, with your children, or wherever it is. You get to spend time running effectively your business, but also working on yourself as an individual. So what can you do to ensure, or what can we do, because I'm part of that crowd, what can we do to ensure that we can manage our life and balance it out in harmony? One, we have to set clear priorities. Setting clear priorities requires you to set the SMART goals we talked about in our first episode in this year. Priorities are important so that you don't have to confuse things. Do not make your emergency my priority. It might not be, so it requires you to plan. So priorities must be set and they are clear. So if you have your SMART goals already, then you have your priorities. Your goals are clear. This is what I want to achieve in this time frame. It is achievable, it is attainable, it is clear. So anything that comes outside it has to be really important to fit in that space. So set clear priorities so that you don't end up mixing up different issues. One of the most important elements I like is setting boundaries. This most of us have failed to do. You do not know when to leave work at home. You don't know when to leave your office work in your office. You just jumble everything up. You end up taking up things you're not supposed to do at home. You interfere with the time you're supposed to have with your family, but also you carry your things from home and you take them to the workspace. Everything is jumbled up. Please set boundaries. This requires you to be very, very candid about what you want to achieve and how you want to do it. Between this time, I'm spending it with my children. It should be that. I know a couple and their friends where they say at a specific time, no phones. And that's it. At 9, there are no phones. They're spending time with the family. They're engaging. But you're here, you're saying you want to have a work-life balance, but you have no boundaries. Anyone is in your space. Everything is jangled up. That is wrong. So if you want to achieve that, you must be able to set boundaries for yourself and for those around you to understand what those boundaries are. That is very important. The other important element is to effectively manage time. Time management is a work ethic that every individual in this world must have. Once you miss it, everything goes ahead of time. If you're supposed to do something at 10, it's now at 11. Supposed to do it at 11, it's now at midday. Before you know it, you have lost and jangled up things you're supposed to achieve. So if you want to manage your work-life balance, the other thing to do is to effectively manage time. This way, everything happens in its planned, appropriate schedule. This is very difficult, I must say, but to those who can practice it, please let's do it in this year, because we need to live a good life at the same time spend time with our families as well. This we have talked about in the previous episodes. Learn to delegate. You can't do everything. You are not God. You are a human being. You need to leave time for yourself. So delegate work. If you have someone who can do something for you, who can assist you, please let them do. For example, I have a newborn, I have work, I have businesses, I have candid to bring to you. How am I supposed to do everything else if I don't delegate work? It means that I will collapse. So the same applies to you. If we are going to survive, we have to learn to delegate in our work-life balance situation. So delegate, we have learned about the art of delegation and how best it can be effective. So follow those guidelines in our previous episode for you to understand what we are talking about. I hope we are clear. I hope you are following. In the work-life balance situation, ensure that quality is over quantity. The time you spend with your family is important. So it should be quality time, not have a lot of time while you're on phone, where you're not doing anything productive. So to manage everything that you have lined up, ensure that the quality time you spend is effective and worth it. Not just anything that comes in your space must be done. Now, as we come to the end of this episode, work-life balance does not work well without you as an individual being intentional. Being intentional means that you're going to write it down and make it your life purpose, that everything in your schedule must be done, but done in the right time. Even the Bible says there's a time for everything. There's a time for everything, which means you have to regularly assess yourself, how you're doing it, regularly assess and monitor if you're actually achieving your work-life balance goals. If you fail to do that, then you better just live like any other person, just anyhow. And this works for planners. A work-life balance does not work well if you're not a planner. I myself am a planner. I plan everything that I do at a particular time. So let's learn to plan, to manage time, to set clear priorities, to establish our boundaries, and those boundaries must be known by yourself and those around you so they don't cross them. Learn to delegate work, practice self-care, love yourself in the process, and of course, spend quality time with your family if you're at home, quality time at work if you're at work, and balance everything out. And above everything else, ensure that you monitor and assess yourself. There is no life if you're only hinged on one side of the life. It can't just be about work. It can't just be about your family. There has to be a harmony that we must establish. So a work-life integration or a finding harmony in your work-life space is important. To be able to achieve our personal growth, to be able to grow in our leadership skills, to be accountable to ourselves and those around us, we must have a balance in between. So if you want to be a part of that balance, Candid Talk is part of that, where you get to spend time watching the episodes and learning more about these episodes, or learning more about these different qualities we talk about every other time for you to stand out in your personal life, but also in your career or in your professional life. Let us grow together on Candid Talk in your personal growth adventures, but also learn to grow in leadership and be accountable to yourself and to those around you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time as we balance out work and life. Bye-bye.